everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. There's a fly. Oh, this intro is not going well. Hello. Today we are going to be, what are we going to be doing? Literally, what are we even doing? We're going to be finishing books that I have previously DNF'd and now I'm going to give them another go. So we've got quite a few books I want to read in this video. I'm going to try and read Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, which I started in 2022 and still haven't finished. I'm just finding it quite slow, to be honest, which I don't mind slow fantasies. Like, some of my favourite books are slow fantasies, but I'm just not clicking with any of the characters. And if it doesn't have like a big plot, then I need to be connected to the characters, and I'm just not. I just don't really care about any of them. Like, Laszlo's cute, but it's just, I'm not invested enough in him to look past the boring plot. But it is a beautifully written book, so I do want to give it a fair shot, because again, it is gorgeous. Like, it's so well written. It's just like well written in terms of the language use and stuff is beautiful, but not well written in terms of, I find the plot really boring. I also want to give Serpent and Dove another go. I find both main characters in that book completely insufferable, to be honest, like so insufferable. But again, we're going to give it another go. That was a book I was so excited about. Like, by the way, I don't shy away from DNFing books. If I want to DNF and never read it again, I will. And that might happen with some books in this video, but these are all books that I was excited about, or for some reason I just want to give them another go. So yeah, Serpent and Dove, I didn't even explain what Strange the Dreamer was. I'll explain it later when I talk about it. Serpent and Dove is a witch and a witch hunter, which is a great premise, but I'm not finding that the premise is really premising. You know, it's not really paying off in the actual story. But I was so excited for that, and I stopped reading before the romance really developed. So I do want to give it another go and at least get to the bit where the romance is building and see if that makes me like the characters more and makes me a bit more invested in what is going on. So they're two books, both fantasy books, that I was just not clicking with. There's another fantasy book I forgot about, This Woven Kingdom. I forgot because I'm reading it on my Kindle instead of in physical form. Another fantasy book that I am finding really slow. Again, I started it like over a year ago, and I just feel like we spend so much time in the characters' heads, and like what is in their head isn't interesting. So I'm struggling with that one again, and I've put it down and not picked it up for a while. So again, we'll give it another go, because I love the Shatter Me series, and it's by the same author. And I just think if someone can write Aaron Warner, surely their other books can't be that bad. Surely I'm missing something here. If she can write Aaron Warner, surely she can do this well. So we're going to give that one another go. Spoiler, I'm actually filming this intro like 2 days after I started this vlog. So you are going to see me again in a few minutes in the same place wearing the same outfit. I haven't finished any of the books or decided... No, I have decided to DNF one. You'll see that in a second. That's the next couple of clips coming up. But other than that, I'm still reading all the others. So it's, you know, I've not deceived you too much. But yeah, let's roll the clip of the book that I decided to read first. And then you'll see me like this again in a minute to talk about what I'm reading now. Does any of that make sense? I don't know. Bye. The first book I'm going to read for this video is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I'm currently on page 192. I think I picked it back up on like 165, I want to say. So I've got like 30 pages. And I still feel very much the same. So just for context, this is a fantasy book. And it's about Laszlo Strange, who is a librarian. But he's always kind of dreamed of more. Like, he likes being a librarian, he loves stories. Like, that's his thing, he just loves stories. But he's just always dreamed of more. And he's really obsessed with this place called Weep. And we don't know the actual name of the place. Like, the name of it vanishes from everyone's heads, but we're referring to this place as Weep. And he's obsessed with it. And eventually, near the beginning of the book, he gets the opportunity to go. I won't explain like how or why, but he gets the opportunity to go. In Weep, there's these 5 people that have survived and are living there. No one is supposed to live there. It's like the forgotten or the lost city or whatever. And they're still living there. So we've got 2 points of view. We've got Laszlo's point of view, and then we've got Sarai or Saray. I don't know which way. I've heard that name pronounced both ways. I don't know which way you pronounce it in this book. But we've got her point of view as well. And I feel the same as I did, which is bored. Saray / Sarai's chapters, it's giving Manon chapters in Throne of Glass. It's giving why are you here? It's giving why am I in your head? It's giving this is coming out of nowhere. And I am starting to get to the book where, the part of the book where it's starting to make sense. The path is starting to cross, but still, like, for the first near on 200 pages of the book, it just feels like random plonked in chapters that don't make sense. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the book is badly written, like, it's a beautifully written book. But I'm just so bored, and I just don't like it, and it's just not flowing for me at all, which is exactly how I felt, like, the first time around. But yeah, it's not really working for me, still. But I'm going to carry on a bit, because I don't hate it, I just feel very indifferent, I'm just not attached, I just don't care what happens to anyone in this book, I just don't care. And I hate reading books where I don't care. I have to at least care about either the plot or the characters, ideally both. But for like a fun little 3-star book, I can take one or the other. I care about neither. I care about neither in this book, so yeah. But yeah, as I said, I am going to carry on a bit, give it a bit more of a chance. I really don't want to DNF every book in this video, like it's not the plan, but yeah. It's not off to a great start. Hello, I'm coming to you not looking cute. I've just got out of the bath, the sun is setting, the lighting is disgusting, as am I. Anyway, I have some reading updates. So last I spoke to you, I was reading A Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, and I have DNF'd. I can't do this anymore. For context, I started this in, I think it was November 2022. It's like a year and a half ago. And I've tried on multiple, like 3 or 4 occasions within that year and a half to read this. And I don't like it any time that I try and read it. So I'm giving up. I can see why people like it. The writing is gorgeous, the use of language and imagery and prose is beautiful, but I'm just bored, and there's too many books I want to read on this earth to be bored during one of them, so I'm just going to accept that this isn't for me and DNF. I don't know why I'm just not clicking with it. I do typically prefer fast-paced books, but there's definitely been like slow books I've enjoyed. I'm just looking at my shelves. Addie LaRue, The Night Circus, like slower fantasies that I love, but Strange the Dreamer, something about it just isn't clicking to me. I mentioned I don't like journeys, so I think the fact that the journey was boring kind of got off to a bad start. I don't like the random chapters. It is kind of coming together. I'm DNFing just after 200 pages in. I think I've DNF'd on page like 207, I think. So things are like the chapters starting to come together, but for the first 200 pages it was just like random chapters from random people's point of view. I also think there's too many characters. I've completely lost track of who's who. I don't care about any of them. Laszlo is quite sweet. I do kind of want to know what happens to him. I want him to be okay. But yeah, I'm just going to DNF. It's not for me. I get why people like it. It's a beautiful book, but it's just not for me. I'm just very bored. And as I said, there's too many books that I want to read to be bored. So the next book we're going to try again with is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin, I think is how you say it. So yeah, we're going to give this one another go. I DNF'd this one again because I wasn't enjoying it, but for kind of different reasons. So this one is a lot easier to read. This is like, I need 100% of my brain power, and I don't have 100% brain power. It's quite difficult. This is easy in the sense of like the writing is a lot more straightforward. The use of language is just kind of more plain. There are like made up words and stuff like you find in fantasy, but it is overall easy to follow. I just hate the characters in this book. I just hate the characters. They're just so annoying. Just so annoying, especially the man. Like the woman I can appreciate because at least she's trying to like fight the patriarchy, like that's always a good thing, we always love that. But oh my god, the man in this book is just so annoying, and the characters are just so extreme. Like the characterization doesn't feel genuine. Nothing they do feels genuine. It all feels like a caricature. But we're gonna give it another go, especially because this one is easier to read. I have a bit more hope. Do I? Not really, no. I'm now on page 162, so I've read a few pages since DNFing. Like I've just read a few pages now in the bath, not many. And yeah, I'm gonna give this another go. So as I mentioned, I'm back in the same place. Just filmed the intro, and you'll have just seen, obviously I have DNF'd Strange the Dreamer. and I am now reading Serpent and Dove and This Woven Kingdom. I'm listening to Serpent and Dove, and I am reading This Woven Kingdom on my Kindle, and I'm quite liking both of them. In Serpent and Dove, I still don't like the main characters, that still stands, but in the little bit that I've listened to, like in the last few hours, the romance hasn't fully developed, but they're starting to have more interactions that aren't like wanting to kill each other. And this is kind of a vibe. Like, the book is still ridiculous, don't get me wrong. The execution of the premise is absolutely ridiculous. The reason that they're married is stupid. Don't get me wrong. This isn't going to be a 5-star read, but it could be one of those like 3-star, so bad it's good, entertaining kind of reads, you know? Because yeah, there is a bit of a vibe. So I've not got too much to say. I've barely read any of it since starting this video. I've just read enough that they are starting to have more, not friendly interactions, like begrudgingly friendly interactions. So yeah, I'm definitely going to carry on with it anyway. And then This Woven Kingdom, it's still very slow. We're still spending a lot of time in the characters' heads, as we have from the beginning of the book. But I am now appreciating the writing style more. It's almost like Bridgerton, but fantasy. The way that it's written and the way that the characters speak, which is quite nice. It's different from other fantasies that I tend to read. A lot of the fantasies I tend to read are more like, you know, like tropey. I don't know how to describe them, like book doc fantasies. So yeah, it is a nice kind of change of pace. And yeah, I actually like the characters in that one. I'm not like in love with them, obsessed with them, but they have potential, more potential than Serpent and Dove. I feel like the characters in This Woven Kingdom are starting to, like, they're growing to be a bit more well-rounded. We're learning more about them, which is nice. They feel like, they're starting to feel like real people rather than just like caricatures for the sake of a book. The characters in Serpent and Dove very much feel like caricatures, but it's like, it could be fun. It's just not good, you know? Anyway, I'm gonna go because I feel like this is confusing, filming the intro and then doing this bit. So I've barely read any of them since I started anyway. So I will pop back in when I've got further in, or either finish one of these 2 books, or if I decide to DNF them. I don't know. I don't foresee myself DNFing them because I'm like over 100 pages in. I think I'm 200 and something pages into Serpent and Dove and 130-ish pages into This Woven Kingdom. So I'm a fair-ish way. They are both quite long books though. But anyway, I'll come back with an update when I've actually got something, you know, of note to say. Hello, I have literally just under a minute ago finished Serpent and Dove, and I think I'm going to give it 2 stars. It didn't end up being the fun, entertaining vibe that I thought it would be. I made some notes, so let me read you those so that I don't miss anything. First of all, so just after the last clip of this video, where I was like, oh, it kind of seems like they're starting to have a few interactions where things are a bit more positive. Yeah, like 2 minutes after that, she told him that she loved him. After they've had like 2 semi-positive-ish interactions. Like, not romantic, just kind of on the edge of, are we becoming friends, are we not? And then she's like, oh, I love you. What? And then not long after, obviously, he said it back. Boring. Boring. You hated each other's guts not 2 minutes ago. What do you mean you're in love? This is a 500-page book. We could have dragged that out right to the very end. We didn't need that. We did not need that declaration. We could have had that declaration. I won't spoil what happens at the end, but that declaration would have fit very nicely with what happens at the end, in my opinion. I really don't think we needed it earlier on in the book at all. I've simply written in my notes, both characters are weirdos. And like, I don't mean that as offence to all weirdos. Like, you know, by society standards, I'm a weirdo. So it's okay if you're a weirdo too, but like, these are weirdos. Like, these 2 are weird. Why does she keep talking about some random barmaid's boobs? I don't understand. And why is he just so the way he is? Again, I don't understand. They're just weird, like really weird people. Oh, and he said he was having a conversation with his ex-girlfriend who he's like obsessed with, and he's like, I don't love Lou, but like I think I could. And then 2 minutes later he's like, I love Lou. But you didn't 2 minutes ago. You literally just said in the previous chapter that you don't love her, but you think you could at some point. Ew, like, why aren't you obsessed with me? What do you mean you could love me? You should be obsessed with me at first sight. But don't tell me that, because we need a slow burn. But you know what I mean? Like, oh, I think I could love her. What do you mean you think? I didn't like that at all. And then I think I figured out what my whole problem with the book overall is, and why it's... These are my pyjamas, by the way. Probably should have addressed that before, that I've literally just got out of the bath. I've been on a lovely day out today, and I've just got home, finished listening to this in the bath, and now I've got my PJs on. Anyway, oh, I need to sneeze. There would have been so much more tension, and Reed would have been such a more powerful character if the witch hunters had have been like, instead of just women hating weirdos that literally just hate women and just are just so vile and think that women are property, it made it so hard to root for any of the male characters, even Reed, because he believes all that stuff for a lot of the book, that women are kind of, he's not as extreme as the others, but you just hear it constantly throughout the book that they think women are property and blah blah blah, and it's just like, why do we need to be putting that in a book in this day and age? Like, and it is condemned, like the whole point of the female main character is that she disagrees with this, and she's very vocal about it, which is great, but it just didn't work, in my opinion. It just would have worked better if we'd have just kept the hating women aspect out of it and just had it as like a really kind of like badass witch hunting group, and then he falls in love with a witch and it's like tension. It's hard to explain, I think, if you haven't read the book, what I mean, but I think it being done the way it did made Reed and all his little mates just like just completely unlikable. Just weirdos. Absolute women hating weirdos. Anyway, that's it for Serpent and Dove. I'm going to carry on reading this Woven Kingdom now. That's my priority next, is to get that one done. And then we'll decide what we're going to read next. Just sat on the floor in my bedroom, so ignore that. But I have no idea where the clip for this Woven Kingdom has gone. I did finish reading it. I ended up giving it 3 stars. I think it was the shining star of this video, which says a lot because it wasn't that good. The language was nice, the characters were fine, I liked them well enough, but it just, there was just something about it that didn't work. It just didn't click. It was too long, we spent too long in the head, it was very repetitive. Yeah, it just, I'll talk about it like, you know, more fully in my wrap up, but it just, yeah, it wasn't for me. Like, it was fine, that's why I gave it 3 stars. The setting was nice. As I said, I liked the kind of, I describe it as Bridgerton, there's definitely an official term for it, but I like that kind of way that the characters were interacting. But yeah, there was something lacking. It just didn't have any oomph. It just felt quite flat. But like, it was fine. I think I would have liked it more if it was like 350 pages, because it was really long and it didn't need to be that long. But yeah, it was okay, but it was just a 3-star okay. Hello. The next book we are going to try and read for this video is Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. I love Elsie Silver. I love the Chestnut Springs series so much, but I tried to read this and I hated it. I got 7% in DNFd, so I didn't give it a massive chance, but I hate the male main character. And I didn't quite know if that was going to get better. If I hate a character, it's quite hard for me to stick it out. Like, if I'm not liking the plot but I like the characters, I can stick it out. But it's really hard for me to carry on with the book if I don't like the characters in it. And I'm convinced he hates women. He stomped his foot like an actual 2-year-old, and he was really angry that basically the premise is he owns this horse ranch, or he's running this horse ranch on behalf of his family, and he's interviewing somebody and her name is Billy, so he thinks it's a man. So when she turns up and she's a woman, he's like fuming. And he says he doesn't care that she's a woman, but like, he clearly does. Like, actions speak louder than words, buddy, you know? Like, clearly you do care that she's a woman. And he stomped his foot, and that was kind of, that was it. That was enough for me, so I DNF'd. But I love Elsie Silver, and I just think maybe she can redeem him. I don't know. So I'm going to give it another go. It's on Kindle Unlimited anyway, and now that I've got my Kindle, I just thought maybe we should just give them another go. So that's what I'm doing. I'm giving it another go. I'm now 17% in. It's not looking good for me finishing it or enjoying it. He's now decided to just completely objectify this woman, and he doesn't care about any of her past achievements, he doesn't care about the fact that she's really good at her job and, you know, she's done great things in her career. He doesn't care about that. He just cares that she's got a nice bum. So Like, you can do both. Like, you can appreciate someone's looks and appreciate the fact that they're a strong career woman, but he doesn't. He just likes that she's got a nice bum, and he's very angry at the fact that she sticks up for herself. He's said multiple times that he likes women that just do what he says, and he really doesn't like the fact that Billy, our female main character, actually stands up to him. He hates that. He clearly has very fragile masculinity and hates when women actually speak. So it's not looking good. But I am going to carry on. I'm not promising I'll finish it, but I'm going to carry on and give it another go and see if it gets any better. I'm not convinced it will, but we'll see whether or not it does. But yeah, that's what we're now reading for this video. It might be the last one of this video. I don't know if I'll get time to read another one, but we'll see. Went for After the Races. I did finish it. She should have just ridden away with the horse, unfortunately. I still don't like Vaughan. And you can tell that Elsie Silver's writing has got a lot better from this to the Chestnut Springs series. Like, this just felt quite flat. I don't know. I didn't feel much while I was reading it at all. And I feel like in Chestnut Springs you kind of go on an emotional roller coaster with the characters, and I just didn't get that here. Might also be because I wasn't invested, because I don't like Vaughan. I still love Billy. I think Billy's great. I really like her. But I did not like Vaughan at all. He clearly doesn't like women. And like, he says he does, but like, actions speak louder than words, and I don't like his actions. Just, you know them people that are like arrogant with no reason to be arrogant. Like, I don't like arrogance anyway, but like, it's even worse when you're arrogant. And I don't mean self-confident. Difference between self-confidence and arrogance. I mean arrogant for literally no reason. Like, with what basis do you have to be arrogant? What positive traits do you have to offer to be arrogant about? The answer for Vaughan is 1, he's tall. That's it. Oh, I like the fact he owns horses, but that's because I like the horses, not because I like him. So yeah, in conclusion, Billy should have just ridden away with the horse and lived happily ever after with said horse in a forest somewhere far, far away from Vaughan the weirdo. And on that note, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up down below if you did enjoy this video, and if you did, I might put myself through the pain of doing this again. Reading more books. I've DNF'd a lot of books. I am a DNFer. If I don't like the vibe, I'm going to DNF the book. But if you did like this, I can force myself through it again. But yeah, so if you did like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!